World War I and World War II were two of the most devastating conflicts in human history. They reshaped the world map and had lasting impacts on global politics, economy, and society. World War I, also known as the Great War, began in 1914 and ended in 1918. It was primarily fought between the Allied powers, including France, the United Kingdom, and Russia, against the Central Powers, led by Germany, Austria-Hungary, and the Ottoman Empire. The war saw unprecedented levels of carnage and destruction. World War II started in 1939 and ended in 1945. It involved many of the same countries, but also included new players like the United States and Japan. The war was marked by significant events such as the rise of fascism, the Holocaust, and the use of atomic bombs. Both wars had profound effects on the countries involved and the world at large. The causes of each war were complex and involved a mix of political, economic, and social factors. Understanding these causes and the major events that defined each war is crucial for comprehending their impacts. This essay will explore these aspects in detail, comparing the two wars and hypothesizing about the potential consequences of a Third World War. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary in 1914 was the spark that ignited World War I. He was killed by Gavrilo Princip, a Bosnian Serb nationalist. This event led to a series of political maneuvers and declarations of war. Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia, and alliances were triggered, dragging multiple countries into the conflict. Trench warfare became a defining characteristic of World War I. Soldiers from both sides dug extensive networks of trenches to protect themselves from enemy fire. These trenches stretched across the Western Front, creating a stagnant and gruesome battlefield. Life in the trenches was harsh, with soldiers facing mud, disease, and constant shelling. Major battles such as the Battle of the Somme and the Battle of Verdun were among the bloodiest in history. The Battle of the Somme, fought in 1916, resulted in over 1 million casualties. These battles exemplified the brutal and often futile nature of trench warfare, where gaining just a few yards of territory could cost thousands of lives. The Treaty of Versailles, signed in 1919, officially ended World War I. It imposed heavy reparations and territorial losses on Germany, which many historians believe contributed to the rise of Adolf Hitler and World War II. The treaty aimed to ensure peace, but instead sowed the seeds for future conflict. The rise of fascism in Europe, particularly in Germany and Italy, was a major factor leading to World War II. Adolf Hitler's Nazi Party gained power in Germany in 1933, promoting aggressive nationalism and anti-Semitism. Similarly, Benito Mussolini's fascist regime in Italy sought to expand its influence. In 1939, Germany invaded Poland, prompting Britain and France to declare war. This invasion is often considered the start of World War II. The early years of the war saw rapid German victories and the occupation of much of Europe. The Axis powers, including Germany, Italy, and Japan, faced off against the Allies, led by the United Kingdom, the Soviet Union, and the United States. The Holocaust was one of the most horrific aspects of World War II. 6 million Jews and millions of other victims were systematically murdered by the Nazis. Concentration camps like Auschwitz became symbols of this genocide. The world was shocked by the extent of these atrocities when the camps were liberated. The war ended in 1945 after the United States dropped atomic bombs on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. These bombings caused immense destruction and led to Japan's surrender. The use of atomic weapons introduced a new era of warfare and highlighted the devastating potential of nuclear technology. Section 4. Comparing World War I and World War II. Both World War I and World War II were caused by a combination of political, economic, and social factors, but their immediate triggers were different. World War I was sparked by the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, while World War II was ignited by Germany's invasion of Poland. The major players in both wars included many of the same countries, but new alliances and enemies emerged in World War II. Warfare technology advanced significantly between the two wars. World War I saw the use of machine guns, tanks, and chemical weapons like mustard gas. In contrast, World War II featured more advanced tanks, aircraft, and the introduction of radar and nuclear weapons. These technological advancements made World War II even more destructive. The outcomes of the two wars also differed. World War I ended with the Treaty of Versailles, which placed heavy burdens on Germany and contributed to economic hardship and political instability. World War II concluded with unconditional surrenders from Germany and Japan, leading to the establishment of the United Nations and the beginning of the Cold War. The global balance of power shifted significantly after World War II, with the United States and the Soviet Union emerging as superpowers. The human and economic costs of both wars were staggering. Millions of lives were lost, and entire cities were destroyed. The aftermath of these conflicts reshaped national borders and led to significant changes in international relations. Section 5. Hypothetical consequences of World War III. If a Third World War were to break out, the consequences could be catastrophic. Modern technology has advanced far beyond what was available during the first two world wars. Nuclear weapons, cyber warfare, and advanced missile systems could lead to unprecedented levels of destruction. The potential for a global nuclear conflict is a terrifying prospect. A World War III could also have severe economic repercussions. Global economies are more interconnected than ever before. A major conflict could disrupt international trade, leading to economic collapse in multiple countries. The resulting instability could trigger widespread poverty and famine. The environmental impact of a World War III could be devastating. Nuclear explosions would cause massive destruction and long-term radiation effects. Fires from bombings could lead to widespread deforestation and loss of biodiversity. Climate change could be accelerated by the release of large amounts of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases from burning cities and industrial facilities. The social and political landscape of the world would likely be altered dramatically. Governments might impose strict controls on citizens, leading to potential human rights abuses. The destruction of infrastructure and loss of life would create a humanitarian crisis of unprecedented scale. Rebuilding efforts would take decades, and the psychological scars would last for generations. Section 6. Conclusion. Lessons learned. Both World War I and World War II taught the world important lessons about the costs of conflict and the necessity of diplomacy. World War I highlighted the dangers of entangled alliances and the need for international cooperation to prevent wars. The catastrophic human cost of trench warfare and the economic toll on nations underscored the importance of resolving disputes peacefully. World War II reinforced these lessons and added new ones. The horrors of the Holocaust and the devastation caused by atomic bombs showed the need for vigilance against tyranny and the dangers of unchecked technological advancements. The establishment of the United Nations aimed to provide a platform for international dialogue and conflict resolution to prevent future wars. As we reflect on the history of these two world wars, it is crucial to apply these lessons to avoid the possibility of a third world war. Diplomacy, international cooperation, and the responsible use of technology are essential to maintaining global peace. The past has shown us the devastating costs of conflict, and it is up to current and future generations to ensure that history does not repeat itself.